Congratulations for making it to the second video of greed. Greed is something that is very hard for us to take into ourselves. I was greedy as well in my unconscious and unaware states of being. And the whole thing about that is it came from a place of not feeling like I had something. Greed stems from this. It actually is a sign that a person is in fear of losing something and doesn't have it to begin with. A lot of people that are greedy in this world, those that sit on the top social structures in this world, hoarding their gold, are those in fear. They are in fear, so they hoard away their stashes of gold and they limit their own freedom within and without, because being able to leave from that stash of gold takes a considerable amount of energy from them. They always have to have guards and people to guard their treasures. And it's just like Smaug in The Hobbit. Tolkien was trying to show that that type of dragon sickness, it really does chain the person to that pile of gold because you're so fearful that others will take from you. And I learned when I was greedy and in my greedy stages that really I was at a place of where I didn't trust that I would be able to find more. So I was greedy. And people can be greedy emotionally as well. And you have to realize that that also comes from fear. It is a place of fear in the idea that you feel like if you give too much love to others, or if you are too expressive to others, or too much showing of yourself and your appreciation or your gratitude or your kindness to others, that you will be taken advantage of. Those who are greedy in nature, who keep to themselves everything that they have acquired and have taken more than their share and have tried to in this world, they are the ones most in fear. And so it's truly a time to transform that greed in this world into freedom, into a spiritual freedom of understanding that you are always free. Something that I have personally learned is that when you are down to your last dollar in your bank account and you are in a state of confidence and awareness, knowing that you can always find more money. There's always ways how to get more money and more wealth. And when you are actually charitable and you give away that last dollar, if you give that dollar, what I have noticed is that the universe will always give back to you. It is the way that the cause and effect happen and the laws of physics happen and the balance of energies, that if you are going to be so confident and so secure in yourself to believe that you will find more money eventually, then you will find and obtain more money. And I think that that's how people have to see it, is that they cannot be so fearful that they'll never find money again, and they have to be so greedy with their contributions and their donations, and just understand that as you give more, you actually do receive more back. It is true. I have seen it in my own life. I actually have a story to tell you about a time when I met a real live angel. And angels come to us in many different forms. They are messages from the universe to tell us that we are guided and we are loved. At one time when I was in my younger 20s, I did not know how to balance my bank account very well. And I went into negative. And this was a time during Christmas time when I was celebrating with my family, and I was supposed to get onto the train to go visit them in the suburbs. And unfortunately, I was in negative. And I was going to go and pay for something that got engraved for my father. I was in panic, sheer panic, because I just felt like my whole world was crumbling down, because money was a very big part of my life when I was in my early 20s. I was always trying to search for ways to get it. I didn't really come from a family of money. And so it was very difficult for me. And I had this panic attack within the bank that I was standing in. And I was gently reminded by a woman in a fur coat. I will never know her name. She didn't even tell me her name, didn't even want it back, nothing. And she just was standing next to me, and I was talking to the bank teller, and I was just kind of saying, look, I just deposited my check from my work, and now you're saying that it's a negative. And he's like, well, yes, because you were a negative before. I was just so beyond myself. I was just like, oh, how can that be? And I was just so upset with myself. And I didn't know what to do because I was supposed to get onto this train. And here I was not able to pay for my father's gift. So my whole family relations, everything was just surfacing up. And I just started crying in the bank. And the woman behind me in the fur coat, she actually turned to me and she said, let me give you $300. And I looked at her and I was like, I can't accept that. I just can't. You know, I was just brought up to never accept help from others and to always do it yourself. She just gave me a hug and she's like, I've been there before. Just like, that's all I want to say is I have been where you have been. She gave me a hug, put the cash in my hands, and I didn't know what to do. And it was the most interesting moment in my life. I went outside to actually go and thank her and try to get an address if I could to try to pay her back. She was gone. Nowhere on the street, nowhere in a car. I couldn't find her at all. These types of examples in people's lives happen all the time. Even though I am taking the role of a light worker, I was also prompted by other light workers and other souls that are also in service to the universe and moving the species forward. And I would say that that was a moment in time where I started to awaken more deeper. So that had to happen in my life for a particular reason. This is an example of what happens when you let go of fear and you have confidence in the universe. Now, at this time, when I was going through that, and that particular day, I was already kind of going through my spiritual awakening, and I did believe in a higher power. And I always believe that you can tap into it and you can be in a flow with it. I was at least awakened much to that because of the way that I was brought up. And that meeting with that woman who gave me the money was just more affirmation about that. Please take my experiences and believe it to be true. That those that are in this world today that are the most greedy are actually the ones most in fear. They are scared for their lives, that they would actually lose all that they have acquired. It is well known that the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all of those bloodlines that hold the most and the majority of wealth in this world, they have acquired it over the many, many years and throughout their history of their family relations. And what that does to a person is it makes them want to secure that wealth and to ensure that their bloodline and their family will be preserved forever. In some form, greed is also a search for immortality. So the more that you hoard gold and wealth to yourself, the more you believe that it will buy more time and it will help you get over your fear of your morality. We are all going to die, but those with the amount of money that they hoard away in their vaults, they are so afraid of death. They are so full of fear. And so if we want to heal the problem of greed, we need to look at the core of what causes it, which is fear. And what does fear do? It traps you. It holds you securely down to something that you are so afraid that you will lose. Just like Smaug was stuck inside of the old dwarven kingdom. He was stuck inside, sleeping on top of the pile of gold. Tolkien was trying to show that message, that there's no freedom with greed. That those who are the least greedy, and if you can find it in yourself to just let go and have confidence and know that you will find more money. There's always ways. You can be very creative with yourself in finding and obtaining more wealth. Those that are the least greedy people in this world, the ones that are homeless, giving their money to others. I saw this social experiment. A homeless man was given a box of pizza, and a social experimenter wanted to see what a homeless person would do with that box of pizza. If he posed as another homeless person and went to him and said, hey, I just lost my job, I don't have any money. And you know what the homeless person did? Gave a piece of pizza. Actually shared the pizza with him. Those that have experienced such a loss of money and monetary wealth, those who are homeless are actually some of the least greedy people in this world, because they know what it means to just let go and to sleep outside in nature, and to let go and to keep the faith going that maybe one day they will gain the money that they need to get their self back on track. Those who are the least greedy are the most free. And that is something I have learned, is that when I am not greedy with my food, with my money, with my emotions, with anything that I have to offer others to help them and to assist them, that means I am the most free-spirited. I am the most free from this material world, unattached to material things, knowing that they're just temporary. But what really is more long-lasting is what I carry in here and in here. And that is really what I am truly after. More longer lasting wealth, which is inner happiness and bliss. Those who are the most greedy are stuck, and they don't have happiness, and they are not really truly in bliss states. They may think they are because they have all this money and they can buy, a jet, and they can go across the world, and they can do anything that they want. They can even freeze their body and hope that it is reanimated in the future. They can do anything that they want with their money, but they cannot buy happiness and inner bliss and peace. That's something that can only be attained through hard work, and it has nothing to do with monetary wealth and gain. Some of the best things in this world are free. And when we are constantly reminded of that, we can actually truly allow ourselves to not be greedy and to actually be in search of more virtues like charity and giving to others. And in giving to others and bringing forth the charitable nature within you, you will actually learn to find that you will get more back. And it might not be in monetary form, it might be in something else, in spiritual fulfillment and happiness, knowing that you helped another person, that you gave to another person who at this phase in their lifetime, they were lacking. We have a lot of really scary things happening in this world. Greed is almost being shown as a good thing, that it's good to be greedy. Well, it's good to look out for yourself and to care for yourself and to help to preserve, your own success that you build for yourself. But there is such a thing as excess wealth. There is such a thing of overindulgence. There is such a thing of keeping everything to yourself and not wanting to share with others. And to the truly enlightened and awakened mind, it actually symbolizes fear. All it is fear in those people. So if we can soothe those people to show them there's nothing to fear, there's always more to what you have acquired. You can always make more. There will always be other ways. And if you give up more to others, well, it's going to make the world a much better place for all. I have a hard time believing that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and those that hold the majority of wealth actually truly can sleep very peacefully at night, knowing that there are countries that they could easily help that are filled of starving children that are dying. I would have a hard time believing that they can truly be at peace. If they are, then they have worked very hard to actually stay in the unconscious state of being. Because when you are conscious, when you are fully aware, you realize that every soul is interconnected to you. And that's the secret of charity. Those that give to others are showing that they are truly enlightened enough to know that they are really giving to themselves. They are really giving to those that are part of this whole collective. And all souls are connected to one another. And the energy that you extend outwards towards another will definitely come back to you in another form. So be free inside. Be free enough to know that everything will be all right, and that you can give and give and give, and there will be always more to come back to you later on at a time. May all people realize that the greed that they feel inside is really just trapping them, holding them tighter to that they are afraid of losing. And once they awaken and truly realize that all it is about fear, then they can truly be free of the thing that binds them, ties them up, locks them in a shackle, keeps the dragon inside of the kingdom, instead of allowing it to fly and be free, to roam around the world, not attached to something. That's really what it is about the material things that we attach ourselves to, possessions and things. Then we are so afraid to actually move forward and to experience true liberation of the spirit and of the physical body. The bigger your house is, the more things that you have inside, the lesser you are more likely to go and just pack up and travel and never come back, and to change everything. Those that marry for wealth are trapped within that marriage because they are greedy in nature, wanting to have that money, and they keep themselves trapped in a loveless marriage because they're so afraid of losing that money and that wealth that they have acquired through the marriage. And is that real happiness? Is that marriage actually true divine love that's shared and experienced? And that is a sign and signature of an immature soul. So become a mature soul and be fully liberated and free. And give freely of yourself and realize that the universe always has your back. And you will realize that too, as I once did. Money seems to symbolize security on earth, but we must ask ourselves, are we really feeling secure? These are the questions that you really need to go deep down inside and see that there's nothing to feel insecure about, and to have faith and trust in the idea that we are the co-creators. We are here to create anything that we want. And if we are going to give of ourselves freely to others, you better believe that there will be more that we can create later on.